Hi everyone, it's Maren with Fargo Underground here for another episode of Hot or Off Topic. Today we're with Josie from Zandbroz. We're going to take a little tour and let her tell us all the fun things they have in store and what she has waiting for us when we get back. So let's bring Josie on. Hello, Josie.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Good. All right. Well, at least it's not snowing.
Yeah,
it's
sunny. Like sunny out. Yeah.
We have that. We'll be happy with that. Well, thanks for coming on today. This is Absolutely. Kind of something new we started, and you being the cornerstone kind of on that. Well, when we think of downtown and the cornerstone businesses that have been there for a while, we think of Zandbroz.
Well, thanks.
So what I kind of want to know, a lot of people might not know. Tell me some of the history about Zandbroz. When did the business start, and how did everything form? It's a good story.
So originally, Zandbroz started in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is a very similar city to Fargo. However, their downtown sort of took off a little bit faster than ours did. So my dad and my uncle Jeff, they're brothers, they started the store in 1989 in downtown Sioux Falls. Much like they did here, they bought a old building in Sioux Falls and restored it and decided that they were going to start a store because they had been working for their dad, my grandpa, as milkmen. So they used to drive milk trucks around. And they decided that with their wives, they were going to open a store and sell a little bit of everything that they loved. So for my dad, that meant books, and my mom and my aunt liked home decor and jewelry, and my uncle liked weird knickknacks. So they just combined it all into one store. And so that's kind of where the variety in Zandbroz Variety came from. And then the name Zandbroz comes from Zand is almost our last name backwards. It should technically be Znad, and then Bros for brothers. So Zandbroz Variety.
I love that.
So yeah, the first Zandbroz, the only other Zandbroz, started in 1989 in downtown Sioux Falls. And then 2 years later, in 1991, they decided, hey, let's open another one. And they thought, gee, where could we go? That sounds super awesome. And they decided Fargo, of all places. So they opened.
Lucky us.
Yeah. So my dad moved our family to downtown Fargo, and they bought this building, which used to be Libby's grocery store, and decided to, again, renovate this building and make it into the second Zandbroz. So we like to say that Zandbroz has been making downtown Fargo fun since 1991.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's we've been around for, going on 30 years, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is, but it's what I remember growing up. There wasn't a lot, but there was Zandbroz in the theater.
Yeah, downtown that's what you think of. Totally different landscape. I mean, wow, night and day. It was like Zandbroz, and then we had the Empire,
right?
Bismarck, and then behind us there was another bar similar to those that was called the Flame.
The Flame,
and that was like all there was. There was no like Hotel Donaldson. There were none of the breweries. It was like you said, there was the theater, and that's about it.
Right. Now there's something fun. I don't like in the back of your store. You have a little room back there.
Yeah.
And you used to have, was it a coffee?
Yeah. So when we first opened both the Sioux Falls and the Fargo Zandbroz, that was one thing that my dad and my uncle really wanted to incorporate, was a coffee shop and little cafe. And so they bought old soda fountains and restored them and put them in both the buildings. So when we opened in downtown Fargo, we did that whole back room used to be Dakota Soda. And so we had an old-fashioned coffee bar, which had like hard scoop ice cream. You could get malts, Italian sodas, and then we had a small lunch menu as well with like cold sandwiches and like daily specials. And at the time, there was nothing else in Fargo like that, like especially downtown. There was nowhere to get lunch. There was definitely nowhere to get coffee. There weren't Starbucks in Fargo at the time. And so really we were filling a void. And as time evolved and as Fargo changed and as downtown changed and more of those things started coming up and we got more coffee shops and more lunch places, that gave us the chance to evolve as well, because man, the restaurant business, it's a lot of work and it's hard work. So we really wanted to focus on the store aspect. And so that's why we gave up Dakota Soda. It was around for almost 25 years. It was amazing while it was around. We still miss it sometimes, but it's really given us an opportunity to evolve and do more things with the store itself. So now that whole back room is used books, and a lot of it is like North Dakota history and more regional themed things. That's because that's what my dad, Greg, is interested in. So it's a really well curated used book room.
That's great too, though. And that's the thing. If you have the customers who remember that, they can still go back and they still have things that they can find, which I love.
Yeah.
You always have spaces. Well, you answered the store. I wanted to know how the name came about. That was awesome. You have such an eclectic variety of things. I absolutely love it. How it must be kind of hard for you to think about how do you go about finding all your merchandise? Do you have certain companies that you hear of word of mouth, but I know you also have a lot of local vendors that you deal with.
So it's really such a wide range of companies that we work with and such a enormous amount of different product. And really that's another thing that's evolved over the years as well. Like as I've become more involved with the store, we've begun to focus more on different areas. Like I'm really interested in paper products and art materials and cards and books. And so like we've really expanded those sections of the store. So it's always an evolving process. And I think that's what Zandbroz is really all about, is like constantly introducing new things and finding new things that you can't find just anywhere else, because what's the point in that, and selling something that you can get anywhere else. But we do have companies that we've worked with since day one. Like one of our most popular lines is a line called Blue Q, and they're the ones that do the really fun socks and like a lot of the goofy like coin purses and some of that kind of stuff. And so we've worked with them from the very beginning, and it's been fun to watch how like their company has evolved as well. But yeah, otherwise we have a few really great road reps that we work with. So people that come and see us and they introduce us to new lines and new products, and they show us all different kinds of things that we can introduce to our customers. Otherwise, we do go to a couple markets every year. So generally we go to New York twice a year. We go to a big show at the Javits Center and spend like 3 or 4 days looking at new product and seeing what's new from companies that we've traditionally ordered from. And then, yeah, it is a lot of like discovering product, and like honestly some of it has to do with just like hunting new product and like really investigating new lines and just picking up cues here and there and seeing what works and what doesn't. And as far as local is concerned, we don't do as much local as we used to, actually, just because like we have, our great neighbors at Unglued. They've sort of mastered that market, and we really want them to be able to do that. So we don't showcase a lot of local in terms of like jewelry or that kind of thing, but we do try to really have a good representation of local authors and some local artists. So yeah, there's a little bit of that as well.
That's great. Yeah. And I can vouch your jewelry section is great. Your trinket section is great.
Yeah.
My family's a big fan. Again, that's the other thing I love. You have so many different sections that you have. I mean, it must just be fun to organize each of those sections, because it's such a variety. And now I know you're carrying you have teas and sauces. And so is that a new thing for you? That
it's not entirely new, but it's definitely expanded. So sort of just to backtrack a second, like we really want to cater to have something for everyone. So that's again where all these different product categories come into play. But at the same time, we don't want it to just be like a random assortment. We really want to find products that work well together and that complement each other. And so that's really what we're constantly striving to do. And we try to display that in a way where we throughout the store, we display products together that go well together and that like maybe you wouldn't traditionally think of putting together. But yeah, so the food and the tea is something that we've been trying to build up. So there's a line of tea that we sell called the Republica Tea, and they're a company that we've worked with again for, I don't know, probably 20 some years. And their product offering just keeps getting better and better. And so we've really tried to build up what we offer to our customers. And then, we sell a lot of dessert sauces and jams and salsas and that sort of thing as well. And then, of course, coffee.
And the tea is great. I can vouch for that. I always do that for my mom's presents. She loves it. So
yeah.
But that's the other thing. I love your displays. Do you do the displays? Or do you have someone in store that does?
So my mom, Renee, is responsible for most of it. So she's the one that does all the window design.
Okay.
She used to do probably 6 different window displays a year, installations a year, which is crazy if you think about it. Like every 2 months she's changing out the windows. Now it's probably like 4 times a year that she changes them up. And she's sort of just the queen of reusing and recycling and making something amazing out of literally nothing. And it's gotten to the point where she'll like start telling us what she's going to do in the windows. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure. Like just go for it. Cause we can't see it the way she has it in her head until like it's up. And it's always amazing.
They're so fun to look at.
Yeah. And so she's really responsible. She's like really a big part of what keeps people coming back is because we've always wanted Zandbroz to be more than just a trip to the store. And we want it to be as much about the experience as it is about the products. And so as far as like in-store displays, I do a lot of it, but my mom does a lot of that as well. But I learned from my mom how to do a good display. And we definitely have different styles and different tastes in how to like put things together. But yeah, so we both do a large amount of the in-store display work for sure.
Yeah. Well, something I know your store is doing really well during this time, and it's kind of something we have to talk about, and we don't really want to all the time, but COVID has kind of changed how we all view shopping and how we shop. But I've noticed on your post and how you're taking a look at it, you guys are doing, I think, up and beyond to stay connected with your customers. Let everybody know how they can come visit you and still get your merchandise.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really been a key goal of mine throughout this whole thing is just like staying in touch with our customer base and our community, because that's always been such a vital part of what Zandbroz is all about, is like having that connection and those conversations and having it be more than just about the product that we sell. Like we really want to build those relationships. And so social media all of a sudden like became that much more important so that we can keep our messaging, keep in touch with people, let them know what we're working on and what we're doing to still try to serve them the best way that we can during all of this. And so, yeah, social media has been huge. We've had to be really creative. And I think you and I were talking how like some days it's really hard because it's hard to be positive, and it's hard. Like, I know that's something that everyone is dealing with, is like it's hard to find like the silver linings and things. But what Zandbroz is doing to be able to continue to serve this community is we're offering curbside pickup. We've been doing that for about 6 weeks now, 7 weeks maybe. And we're taking orders over the phone, through email, over direct messaging, through Facebook and Instagram. And then, like, something that I honestly never thought I'd see happen is we finally have an online store. Like, who would have ever thought? Like, you can shop a lot of our product on our website. So that's pretty cool. Like, I honestly didn't think that was going to happen, at least in the near future. But Castle really took that project on and figured out how to get it started. And then like myself and Castle and Taylor have all been adding products every day. So every day there's more and more to see on our online store. So that's been really cool. So yeah, there's a lot of different avenues that we're still trying to serve people. We're doing deliveries. We've been shipping things like all over the country, which is really cool. It's been really fun to like see how widespread the support is. And that's just something that I have been really blown away by, is how supportive this community has been, first of all, but then also just like how loyal our customers from years past have been to us during this whole thing. It's just really amazing.
So what are your hours physically if someone does come and do curbside with you?
Yeah, so we are at the store every day except Sunday. So Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. So anytime between those hours, people are welcome to place orders, and we'll respond as quickly as possible. And then they can do curbside pickup anytime during those hours. And then we're also making deliveries during those hours as well. And we're just now starting to talk about, okay, what's the next step? Are we going to start taking appointment shopping requests? Like, are we going to start opening our doors to like 1 or 2 people at a time? What does that look like? When do we actually open our doors? And when we do, like, what are the requirements that we have in place? And that's something that we've been talking a lot about with our neighbors as well, which is something I'm really grateful for. We have Unglued, Boots and Heels, Stabo, and Burn Bombs, and we've all really been in good communication about what that's going to look like and when that's going to start to happen, because we want to have like a strong unity in that and make sure that we have similar messaging. And I think we're all on the same page, and pretty soon that's going to happen. We still don't have a date, but we're getting closer.
Well, it's in the works.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love you mentioned too the safety precautions, and that your whole block is thinking about that. And the whole point is to bring some sort of normalcy back in a safe way.
Definitely.
And as soon as we can, we can't wait to get in there.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm going to ask you, can you take us on a little tour?
Yeah.
I know we're all missing, and so we can get a little scene.
Definitely. And you'll have to excuse, it's not in perfect shape. It's really funny because like when this all started, we were like, we're going to make this store look so perfect and spick and span, and it's just going to be cleaner than ever, which it is. We've done a lot of really deep cleaning, but also at the same time, everything is turned into a makeshift workspace. So there's just like stuff strewn about like all over all the time. But yeah, let me turn the camera around and I'll walk you around. And
sounds great.
Sort of give you a little play-by-play. Okay, so the front room, which has become one of my favorite rooms, is full of like all the paper goods you could ever want, and like art books and journals. And then we have this whole like magic section, which people have really been into lately, which is fun. And then yeah, just like tons of journals and paper goods and stationery. And that's something that we've been like selling a lot of, is like journals and stationery and cards for people, which makes a lot of sense. And then we move into our main book room. So Taylor actually last week took every book off every single one of these shelves and did a deep clean and reorganized like all the bookshelves and made sure everything was in spick and span condition. And again, like that's something that we've been really grateful for, is being able to like still sell our customers books and still maintain like solid book orders every week. So there's that room. And then we walk over here, and this is like the kids book area and like art supplies. Lots of fun stuffed animals, which has been a saving grace for parents. And games, puzzles, which we've had a hard time keeping in stock. The shelves are looking a little bare right there. But yeah, so this is just like the kids' room, toys, that sort of thing. And then up front, here's like bestseller books on this podium, displays, lots of fun like dishware and drinkware. Let's see. Of course, like body products have been huge. Lots of soaps.
Yeah.
And lotions.
Definitely.
And yeah. Candles. Here's the tea that you were mentioning all along this back wall. This has become our tea wall. So
it is very good.
Yeah, lots of good ones there. Here's the former Dakota Soda room, which many people remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you can see now, it's all used books along this wall. It's all fiction. And then as we move further in, there's like all sorts of, like over here, it's all North Dakota and Minnesota regional history. And then lots of like random. One thing that people are always really surprised about is all the like different Oddfellow and like Masonic pieces that are back in this room. But it's something that Greg got into, and so they've just sort of accumulated. And then like more North Dakota and regional and Native American history over here. But as you can see, like this whole space, this is like the soda fountain here. So like this all used to be like where the ice cream was and like the coffee bar, which is now just overtaken with books. Mm-hmm. And the other cool thing with this space is like we're still able to do like author events back here. So this is like if we have an author come in, this is where we set them up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's
and,
a great space to have.
Yeah. And back in the day, like in the 90s, we used to actually do like a lot of live music back here because again, there weren't like very many venues for that. Mm-hmm. Here is something that a lot of people comment on, this big tin man.
Now tell me history about him.
So he's from a Masonic lodge out of South Dakota. Foot. It's now been replaced with that. But my uncle and my dad decided that they needed him, and they transported him up to Fargo. I don't know his name. I don't really know much about him other than that he's from the Masonic lodge. So yeah, that's like the really brief, quick tour. Here's the front counter with all the jewelry that you were talking about, but unfortunately, all the counters are sort of strewn about with like orders and books and such. But yeah, this is like our front workspace. And up here is like gift bags and then like dishware. It's looking very springy. If only you guys could come and see it. And then up here, oh, FedEx is here. Hello, FedEx. And then up here is like all of the greeting cards. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but
no, you hit all my favorite spots. The cards are great. They're a family tradition. We have to get your cards. So
yeah, that's become like one of my favorite things to order, and like you probably wouldn't believe it, but we have probably over, I'd say like 75 to 80 different greeting card lines represented. And I would say 90% of those are like small independent card makers. So it's like one or two people making the cards, and it's really cool because then we form relationships with those people, and that's been fun for me.
Sure.
And then like finally one other like really popular item are these Cavallini prints, which are really cool, and like they're always coming out with new ones. They're based off of like old school charts and old maps and things, and so they make really good like wall art, and they're very inexpensive. So yeah,
that's neat.
Yeah, so
awesome.
That's the gist of it.
Well, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Are you gonna walk us outside?
Yeah, I'll walk you outside real quick as we say goodbye.
Okay.
I just have to grab keys if I can find them. So Renee just finished her newest window installation last week. So I'll sort of walk you guys so you can see that. And it's finally like sunny out and nice, which is a saving grace.
Yes.
Okay, so I will flip the camera around one more time. Because it's really, the windows say listen to the birds sing, and then there's like all these old prints of birds on the windows, so I'll let you see. And then in these windows, there's like, it's hard to see, but there's old bird charts and like old vintage maps that she displayed. And then, oh, here's our little pickup table. If you do a curbside pickup, that's where we'll put your order. And then, yeah. Look at the windows. So anyway, that's it.
Okay. Well, no, we have a little reflection, but that gives us a reason to go on a drive and come and see him in person.
Come down and check it out. Walk by, come visit,
well,
wave.
Thanks so much for taking a couple minutes and having a little chat with us. I know we're all excited to get back in when it's safe.
Absolutely. Can't wait to have you guys back.
Yeah, thanks so much. And join us on Friday afternoon. We're going to visit with Red Silo and see what they have in store. So
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Josie.
See ya.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too.